What's up, everybody? It's Leo, and in this video we're going to talk about what is the easiest way to start investing in real estate. Now, when I started part-time, and a lot of you must be saying, oh, I don't have any money, I don't, these houses, they're so expensive. So I'm going to give you a couple tips and tricks that I used when I was first starting that helped me get to millionaire status now. So 20 years ago, when I first started investing in real estate, I was just like anyone else. I was working a job, which is the first thing that you need is to get a job, obviously, right? So you got to save some money, and basically, if you want to invest in real estate, you have to make a decision. Do you want to do rentals? Do you want to buy maybe just you want a house hack? There's certain goals that you want to set, but the first thing that you should really do is basically you need a job, right? So after you get really good at that job that you could save some money and you could really cut down some of your expenses, what I suggest that you do is you start looking at the market. So me, I live in New Jersey. I started looking around the neighborhoods when I first moved here. So I've been living in the same exact house for about 17 years. I never moved. I never upgraded houses, right? So we lived pretty much very mediocre. And I started saving my money and reinvesting it, right? I did a couple of wholesale deals on the side here and there, but I was able to build up that nut of money to reinvest into properties, cash flow properties. And the first duplex that I bought, I put 5% down, we fixed it up, I did a lot of work myself, because in the beginning you start, small and you move up gradually. So what you want to do is, after you start building that rental property portfolio, and rolling that money from one property, you save it, you buy the next one into the second one, and then you save that money and you buy another one, and so on and so forth. So, and again, you can do a lot of different things. Is it passive? To a certain extent. Anything that's passive, you really have to invest a lot of time into it for it to turn into something passive. So right now we have long-term holds, I have Airbnbs. The Airbnbs, to be honest, are like pretty much hands-off. We have a management company, they take care of them. They're actually in another state in Florida. We have a number of them, and believe it or not, they're actually like pretty much set it and forget it. So if you're new and you want to do an Airbnb, that's great. I would suggest that, that's a whole different story that we can get into in another video, is to try to do the pros and cons, right? Like, I can't tell you right now how to find a management company. That's again another video. But if you're just starting out and you're living and you're renting an apartment, you want to get somewhere, try to get a duplex, right? Or try to rent a room with someone. Starting out, I know houses are getting very expensive, and it's really up to you to invest in yourself. So that would be my second thing, right? You want to invest in yourself. You want to learn certain skills. When I was younger, for me to buy that first property, I started buying toys, really. I was a big Transformers guy, right? And this was before eBay started. And eBay was pretty new. We didn't even have apps to sell toys and stuff. There was no eBay Motors. There was none of that, right? This was, I think it was 1998. So we just had the first smartphones. You had to hook up a digital camera to an actual, SD port, and with an SD card to the computer, and it was a nightmare. I mean, we had eBay stores, for God's sakes. I mean, people were so lazy that they didn't know it was a 10-page form to fill out on eBay. It was ridiculous. So people would ask me, hey, Leo, can you sell my stuff? I said, yeah, sure. So I used to put ads in newspapers. I remember the New York Newsday that I used to put ads in, and I basically would ask and advertise for toys. If you have any robot toys or whatever, Transformers or collectibles, they would call me, I would go buy them, and then I would sell them on eBay, and I started building up a little side hustle. Kind of like what Gary Vee's doing now. He's going to all these garage sales and whatnot. But I actually did it because back then the internet just started and there was no Gary Vee. There was no YouTube, none of that. So I started finding stuff like that and flipping it up. And then I started buying, I was big into cars at the time. And I knew a body shop that called me one day. I was like, hey, I had a total BMW. I'll never forget, it was a 1982 BMW 320i that was hit by a garbage truck. And my friend sold it to me for $400. And I was like, you know what? I could start selling these parts on eBay. But there was no eBay Motors. And I made so much money selling parts on eBay. I started selling emblems, air-conditioned parts, knobs, you name it. I made a fortune on it. I sold and made thousands of dollars on all that stuff. So as time went on, all the money that I made on that car, I started rolling it over to another car, and then I rolled it over to another car, and another one, and another one, and then I was able to buy a house. So I kind of rolled everything over, and I'll probably take a bunch of pictures too and post that on Instagram as well. Because I had, no joke, I had about like 10 different cars that I rolled into the first property that I actually physically owned that I rented out, right? So like I said, there's a lot of different ways that you can like generate passive income, and you can get your first amount of, first nut of money to buy a property. It's just how much you want to hustle, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to like put that money on the side. There's other things you can do too. You can kind of like find distressed homes. It's called wholesaling. I mean, that word wholesaling never existed back 20 years ago. Basically, it was just finding off-market deals. I'm sure everyone has seen those houses with a lot of grass grown, it's overgrown, abandoned. They got apps now that you can use, like Deal Machine and whatnot. And basically, you just send them a postcard, and if you get it, you can just basically be the middleman and sign a contract. We do that all the time. It's a fantastic way of getting deals. And I would suggest that if you were just starting out, if you're doing Uber, you're driving around and you're doing Deal Dash or whatever it is, you could do that. I mean, you could basically make a list and you could find properties, sign them up, and just tell someone to give you a cut of it. So it really depends what your goal is, right? You got to say to yourself, hey, I really want to do this, because honestly, the more you build wealth like that, 20 years later, I have some properties that are worth $500,000 that I paid for like $150 for. And now what I'm able to do is dip into them with that equity, and you can borrow against it, and you can buy other properties for it. So you can leverage that equity over the years to buy more rental properties. So now I have so many rental properties, and I mean, I'm so glad that I bought so many of them, because I'm never going to sell any of my properties. I'll probably roll them over and 1031 exchange them. That's another topic for another video. But like I said, the best thing to do is just start saving some sort of money, because eventually, you can't say, oh, there was the top of the market and there are no properties available to buy. It's competitive. There's always a deal out there. It depends how bad you want it, and it really depends how much you're networking, because that's really what real estate is all about. It's really about networking with a lot of people. I mean, you talk to people, you go to real estate meetups. That's really what you need to do. So that's my opinion. It's not financial advice. That's how I built a lot of wealth over the last 20 years. If you have any comments, leave them below. Give me a thumbs up if you can, and give me some comments on what other type of topics you'd like. And if you're interested in learning about 3 different passive income streams and how to make more passive income, you can click the next video, which will be over here somewhere, wherever we put the button. So thanks for watching.